Hey everybody, movie reviewer next door here, and I'm back on another review. This time I saw One Shot. It's an action thriller film directed by James Nunn from 2021, and it stars Scott Adkins, Ashley Greene, Ryan Phillippe, and Terrence Maynard. In this film, an elite squad of Navy SEALs on a covert mission to transport a prisoner off a CIA Black Site Island prison are trapped when insurgents attack while trying to rescue the same prisoner. So, what did I think of One Shot? Well, I've been wanting to see this for a while, just wanted to pick the right time to watch it. Felt like watching an action movie. And I really enjoyed it. I mean, I wasn't expecting to hate it. And yeah, yet again, Scott Adkins is showing that he is the action star of our time, really. He's the guy you go to when you need an actor who can both act and be a true badass nowadays. Kind of like Steven Seagal back earlier in his career. Well, I mean, he was never much of an actor, but he knew how to do the physical shit. But yeah, let me get to the cast. Scott Adkins plays Jake Harris. He's a Navy SEAL on this black site trying to transport this prisoner to America and stop a bomb from going off. Scott Adkins, I've loved him in a lot of films. I loved him in I had to scroll down. He's been in a lot. Uh Give me a sec though. I loved him in Avengement. I think that's either that or American Assassin or not American Assassin, Accident Man or his best film. He was good in Triple Threat. Again, Accident Man, fantastic. Ninja was good. Ninja 2 was fantastic. Debt Collector was fine. He wasn't in the tournament much, but I love that movie. Accident Man 2, Hitman's Holiday was fine. Okay, I liked it, but I did have a lot of issues with the comedy. Um, Close Range, good film. Legacy of Lies, good film. Savage Dog, really great. Probably about the same level as this. Castle Falls was good, but it needed something else. Lights Out was great. But yeah, he's been in a ton of great films. He's definitely a fantastic action actor. And again, he does great here, even though his style here is more focused to tactical gunplay and takedowns more than like a full-on fight. But it's still nice to see him do something different. Ashley Greene plays Zoe Anderson. She's, I think, an analyst who's brought in to bring this prisoner. I haven't seen a ton of Ashley Greene. She was also in Accident Man. I thought she was fine there. She was good in The Immaculate Room, a movie I kind of want to rewatch. Um, she's mostly known for the Twilight series, a series that I am not intimately aware of, but or intimately associated with, but she's in all five of them. But no, I don't mind her here. I think she does solid work. Uh, she looks the part. Ryan Phillippe plays Jack York. He's one of the higher ups. I can't remember exactly what he was, but he's not in the film a ton, I will admit. If you go into this expecting to see Ryan Phillippe and Scott Adkins fighting side by side, you're not really going to get that. But I do like Ryan Phillippe trying to branch out into being more of an action like badass because I have seen him in a couple of his action roles and I have enjoyed them. Even thrillers from back in the day that he did, like Antitrust, I really like that one. The Second was one of his action films. I think he did a good job there, being a badass. Um, I have some other ones on my watch list that I haven't gotten to, but yeah, I like Ryan Phillippe as an actor. and Terrence Maynard plays uh, Tom Shields, who I get this actor mixed up with Tony Todd quite often. He does look quite a bit like him. I liked him in this. Also, Waleed El Ghadi is Amin Mansour. I kind of wish more of his dialogue wasn't just "I'm innocent, please, I'm not the guy you're looking for," but he still worked. But here's the thing with this film. This film, as the title suggests, is made to look like it was all done in one take. Now, this wasn't shot all in one take, but it's long takes stitched together to give the feeling of a long flowing storyline, as it is a siege taking place on this black site, and the only way out is to call for help and take a helicopter out. So what you've got is basically about 16-ish minutes of setup, and then the rest of the film is a long hour and 15-ish minutes of siege action. And how well does it do it? I think this film, excuse me, does it very well, especially given the fact that this isn't a high budget movie. I don't know the exact budget of this. I don't, excuse me, I don't think I'd be able to find that out. I can try real quick. Yeah, there's no budget listed. But I would guess probably under 5 million. A lot of Scott Adkins movies are usually around under that budget, so I'm guessing this one too. And plus there's not like a bunch of actors that I would think would take a ton of money. But this film is very well done at a lot of points. There's a lot of really intense gunfights between our SEALs and the terrorists that have come here to take this guy. There's again, like I said, there's not a lot of hand-to-hand fights. When they are there, they're mostly more of scuffles, which they still work. They work to show that our main character is a badass, but he's also a human. Um, and given that I knew how this was going to be filmed, I was a little scared for the CGI blood. Because I was guessing, yeah, they're going to use CG muzzle flashes or something, and it's going to look weird. But in all honesty, the film looks pretty great from that perspective. They never like show it for too long, again, because it's kind of more it's shot less like a normal like Accident Man. It's shot less like Accident Man is, where you're seeing like a long view of all the action, because it's so well choreographed and staged that you don't need to cut around it. With this, they're not cutting around it because there are no real cuts. Well, they cut when at moments that you wouldn't usually recognize. Again, to make this flowing narrative. Oh, excuse me. This specific style of filmmaking work, and it I think it really does work to put you more in the shoes of the characters and put you in the middle of the action, because there are also ways you can mess up the having the camera far away from the action thing, as in you could have it too far that you can't see what's happening. So there could be good choreography, but you can't see it. There's having the camera there but not moving at all to the point where it looks cheap. There's the high frame rate thing that can usually show, like, usually a low frame rate can be used to hide like missed hits or make them look like they actually did connect, and the 60 frames would kind of give that away. Oh. But with this film, I think the way it's shot does actually help it feel a bit more gritty, because this is a very serious film. Compared to like Accident Man, where it's kind of more action comedy, and Avengement, where it's kind of dark comedy crime thriller with action in it. with this, you again have more of a serious, like, kind of war setting. It is very gritty in how it portrays that characters that you're like, oh, I wouldn't expect them to die. They die. Um, it's very well done in that way because there were multiple times where I was actually cared. I actually gave a shit about the characters and wasn't expecting things to happen to them. Um, and that's what a good war film should do. I call this a war film, but it is more of just a military action thriller siege movie. It's more of a siege movie than a war movie. But there's plenty of siege movies that are also war movies. But no, I think the action is done incredibly well. Very well shot. The guns themselves look real enough. It feels like they're using blanks because there's multiple times where you see the rounds fly out, and usually when that's CG'd, I can fucking tell. This film did it very well, and I'm gonna probably attribute that to if it is CGI, they did a fantastic job. But the director James Nunn, he's known for doing pretty great looking action films on a smaller budget. He did the sequel. He did Tower Block, which I think is a British thriller that a lot of people have told me is I've heard multiple people say that it's a really good thriller. He did the Marine 5 Battleground, the Marine 6 Close Quarters, Eliminators, another Scott Adkins film. Um uh, uh Green Street 3, which I haven't seen. But yeah, he's one of those directors kind of like Jesse V. Johnson. Would I say his directing here is as good as Jesse V. Johnson? It's kind of hard to say. I'd like to see Eliminators and see what he'd do with a normally shot Scott Adkins film rather than a trying to be one take gimmick type of movie. But it was also nice to see something that did have a bit of a gimmick that set it apart from most other action movies, where every other action movie seems like it's just doing the same story over and over. So that was nice to see. Um, but yeah, overall the film looks great and the action really does hit. Especially some of my favorite parts of this were Scott Adkins' character sneaking around and fucking doing these like takedowns on these guys so they couldn't like say anything, like slicing their throats real quick and just fucking he's such a badass in this. The villains, I don't remember their names. The villains aren't technically anything special, but they make them hateable enough to the point where they work. Um, and but yeah, like there's not a ton I can really say about this. I don't want to give anything away in a case like this, especially a case where I really enjoyed the film. I have a hard time wanting to make it a spoiler video. But if there's anything I could say that's keeping this from being like a 10, because I'm giving this a 9, because I really, really do enjoy this. There's a couple things. One, the camera work, for the most part, is really good. There are some points where the camera does get a bit shaky to the point where I can't tell what's happening. There are a couple points. I'm not a fan of that. Never been a fan of shaky cam. I understand there might be some of them trying to have to hide the budget a bit, but yeah, there are better ways to do that than shaking the camera. If you can't afford to shoot something, don't shoot it. And certain characters I think should have gotten a little bit more to do. Ashley Green and Ryan Phillippe's characters don't really do a whole lot. I'd say Ryan Phillippe's character does a bit more than her as he's like shooting people. She's kind of just standing in this one room for most of the movie, and I wasn't huge on that. I understand she's not the action type character, but it would have been cool if she had gotten to kill a couple people. or a couple of the terrorists, but otherwise, this is a really good film. Uh, everybody who's into Scott Adkins that hasn't seen it, definitely go watch it. And yeah, really enjoyed it. That was my review of One Shot. If you've seen the film, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. If you have any recommendations, put them down there as well. And movie reviewer next door, out.